evening and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Trinidad and Tobago. 3 men believed to be members of the Seven Gang were killed meters away from each other in Marval on Monday. Police identified the deceased as Antonio Minty Trim of Cascade, Javon Peters of 7th Avenue, Malik Barataria, and Kirby Victor of Beetham Gardens, Leventil. Police reported that the trio were killed at Moraldo Street and Beard Street, Marval at 5:30 p.m. Initial reports stated that Peters and Victor were responsible for the killing of Trim at Beard Street and were later murdered at Moraldo Street by Trim's friends. There were also reports that police killed Victor and Peters in a shootout after they killed Trim. Just after 8 p.m., however, police said all 3 men were killed by the same group, with Trim dying at the scene and the 2 others crashing after trying to escape and dying in the black Nissan X-Trail they were in. The triple murder was listed as gang-related. While in Bonaire, oil from a barge which capsized off the southern coast of Tobago has washed ashore on the Dutch Caribbean territory of Bonaire. In a statement on Monday, the island's government said oil was discovered in the waters off Sorobon, Lac and Lagun on the eastern coast. Islanders and visitors have been urged to avoid the contaminated locations. Quote-unquote, this contamination poses a serious threat to both people and nature on Bonaire, including vulnerable ecosystems such as mangroves, fish, and coral, end of quote. Oil-soaked birds and dead marine life have already been reported in Bonaire waters. Oil from the vessel has entered Grenadian and Venezuelan waters. However, authorities have so far not reported any sightings on land. The National Parks Foundation of Bonaire, along with the government and civil society agencies, have responded to clean up the oil. Floating barriers have been deployed to collect some of the oil. Bonaire is located 830 kilometers west of Tobago. The island depends heavily on tourism. Its white sand beaches, clear waters, and pristine coral reefs attract thousands of visitors annually. The vessel capsized on February 7th and is lodged on a reef about 150 meters, 500 feet off Tobago's southern coast. It is still unclear who owns the barge and what may have caused it to sink. The Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard reported the vessel was traveling from Panama to Guyana. Finally, news from Antigua and Barbuda. Antiguans and Barbudans will not pay more for fuel as the government decided to maintain retail prices at the pump. In a statement, the Office of the Prime Minister, OPM, explained the decision was taken after the West Indies Oil Company, WIOC, reported a 1% decline in the cost of gasoline and a 9% increase in the cost of diesel, quote-unquote, based on the refined pass-through mechanism for fuel prices, which takes into account revenue assurance, price stability, and maintenance of subsidies for certain petroleum products. The government has decided to maintain the retail prices at the pump, end of quote, OPM said. From Wednesday, motorists will pay EC $13.99 per gallon for gasoline and $14.25 per gallon of diesel. A 20-pound LPG bottle will cost $32, while a 25-pound bottle and a 100-pound cylinder will cost $40 and $155 respectively. OPM highlighted that Antiguans and Barbudans pay some of the lowest prices in the region for fuel and LPG. Quote-unquote, the average regional prices for gasoline and diesel are currently $15.36 and $15.88 respectively, while the regional average for the 20-pound and 100-pound cylinder of LPG is $38.58 and $200.36 respectively, end of quote, the OPM stated. I'm Dacia Richards. Thank you for watching. Until next time.